Question: what's your emergency plan? You know how when there's an emergency, we're told that there's going to be some type of a national alert? You know, that we're asked to have some backup water, bottled water, backup medications, backup things to help us in case something does arise. I want to ask you, how are you doing in setting goals? How are you doing in your finances? Do you have an extra $1,000 saved in your emergency plan? That's to start. This is something Dave Ramsey and Anthony O'Neill have taught me. And so look them up. But that's in our financial area. How are you doing in your personal and professional lives? Would your family say that when things come up, that you have something in place for your relationship, that you are able to communicate effectively and clearly when there's a problem, that you're willing to forgive, apologize, that you're willing to assertively let the other person know how you're feeling, and when you don't get it right, that you recover well, meaning you're able to come back and apologize, restate what your desires are. And what about your professional life? Do you have some goals in place? Do you have a plan for how you're going to achieve the next thing? Did you want to go back to school? Do you want to purchase a vehicle, a home? What does that look like for you? How are you going to take care of this? Do you need an extra job? What is it that you recognize would benefit you at this stage of your life? Are you in your teens, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, your 90s? What is it that you had hoped to achieve by now? And keep in mind, it's not too late. It's not too late for many things. And even if it doesn't look like you think it should look, let's say it's having a baby, you may need to reconsider, depending on your age. Do you work with someone and actually make a goal of adopting or fostering a child if that's appropriate? Do you help with a niece or nephew, or help with a godchild and help to fulfill that desire that you have? Do you actually consider sponsoring a child through a reputable organization and let that help you with meeting that desire, that goal that you have? And what about your finances? Again, I brought up $1,000. That's just to start in your emergency plan and that fund, in case something does come up. How are you doing with paying off your debts? If you haven't put a plan in place, snowballing your debts, making up in your mind that you're not going to create any new debts, making sure that you're not purchasing things that you can't afford, brand new vehicles that you don't have a plan for. Start today. Start today. There are things that we may be doing that we have not set and actually created a plan, created a goal, actually researched what experts like Dave Ramsey, like Anthony O'Neill, like Dr. Lynn Richardson are saying, Susie Orman. So these are people who've studied finances. They've studied how to get out of debt, how to invest. They have put something in place to help us. What about your home? Is it as organized as you would like it to be? Are things in order? Have you taken the time to look around? I appreciate in our sister chat, we talked about, and they're revisiting this with us, about starting with one room. And we were reminded, Sheila asked us, like, write about it, journal about your experience, write about how you're feeling about the space. What is it that you're hoping to accomplish? And work on one room at a time, decluttering that room, and how it changes your atmosphere. Oh my goodness, that hit me. Yes, it does. When you walk into your room, think about it. How's it making you feel? Yes, let's go to the Marie Kondo about, is it sparking joy? So the Bible also talks about clutter. It doesn't call it clutter, but there has to be order in our lives because it does affect how we're doing life, how we're showing up in other areas. And I have not named all of the areas for us to look into, but keep in mind we're near the end of another year. I appreciate Anthony O'Neill reminded us we don't need to wait till the end of this year or the beginning of 2024 before we start looking at things around us. Let's start today. Let's start today with a plan. Jeremiah 29:11 talks about the power of having a plan and how God's plan for us is for good and not for harm. Let's keep in mind that we first have to identify it. Habakkuk talks about writing. So please, write at least 1 to 3 things down. Give yourself a starting point. What area do you want to start in? Is it on communication? Is it on your business? Is it on, hopefully your faith is in there somewhere? Is it including your giving? Keep in mind all of these things are important and help to make us who we are. It matters how we show up. It matters to God, and it matters to us. So as you look in the mirror, do you like what you see? And guess what? It's not too late. Get some help, whether it's a counselor, a professional counselor, to help sit with you, a professional counselor. Some people are going to coaches. Make sure the person is, they actually have studied and they are able to sit with you to help figure out some things. And don't try to accomplish everything at once. Start with one thing at a time. And be kind. K-I-N-D, be kind to yourself. But find a safe place where you can actually start working on that one thing. And if it's appropriate, leave me a comment. Again, your privacy is important, so be a little general with what you're saying. But know that you can do this. I hope you are hearing that. You can do this. But start today. Give yourself some time. Give yourself a plan. Set some goals. Look at SMART goals. I do have an earlier video earlier in the year that actually went over how to start putting some goals in place. Check it out and consider sharing this with someone else. Look forward to seeing you the next time, and be well.